Hi YouTube, my name is Eric. This video here is about Jeffree Star, and as you can tell, I'm not the typical Jeffree Star fan. I'm not really big into makeup, my wife is, but this is actually what I learned from Jeffree Star, and it was a life lesson that I learned from him. And so I'm happy to be able to share this with you. If you haven't clicked the like and subscribe button, click the little like and subscribe button right down there. Love having you along for the journey. Everybody who's subscribed so far, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Hi, my name is Eric, and this video is about what I learned from Jeffree Star, and it was a life lesson that I learned from him, and it wasn't one that I really expected. I am not your typical Jeffree Star fan. Jeffree Star, he does cosmetics, he did some music. I'm not a fan of Jeffree Star. I don't fit those demographics. But I learned a life lesson from Jeffree Star. I am just like everybody else, and stigma and judgment, we all do it. And if we don't do it, we're not admitting to ourselves the realness. I get judged because I'm a recovering alcoholic, because I deal with mental health, or because I deal with mental issues. I'm ADHD. I get judged for that. I have a stigma that comes along with it, that I'm hyper, that I can't pay attention, I'm not a well-functioning adult. There's tons of stigma and there's tons of judgment in life. Jeffree Star, what I learned from him is that I still judge, and that I still have stigma that I can create and that is in my head. You gotta look in if you wanna grow. I did a lot of research on Jeffree Star. My wife's a big fan of his. I've spent a decent amount of money with him, buying his cosmetics, because my wife loves makeup and she loves to do her makeup, and I like it when my wife feels good, because when she feels good, I feel good. But one thing she didn't appreciate, that I have to give her tons of props for, is she never liked it when I bashed Jeffree Star. And the way that I bashed him was more of just, he's one of those guys who's really rich, he likes to showboat, shows off a ton of stuff, great, he has this pink Lamborghini, all this. Wasn't really keen on that, and it was kind of like, I don't want to support that lifestyle for somebody. But she really believed in him, and so I started to dig into him a little bit and find out why, because she had found him on MySpace back in the day. He was one of the biggest MySpace people there was. Did some music, crossed over and went into makeup. Doing this research on him, though, I found out that his father died from suicide at age 6, and I have now something in common with Jeffree Star. My father died of suicide. At age 6, I was a lot older than him. My dad died in 2017 from suicide. I can't imagine being 6 years old and your dad dying from suicide. His mom worked on the road. He was on the road a lot. They traveled. That's a rough lifestyle. And for somebody to create what he's created with a childhood like that that's already against you so much, I have to step back and look and go, I have to give this guy credit for what he's done. I have to give him credit for the empire that he built, the business that he built, because that is inspiring. Looking in and realizing that people are so much more than their stigma is something that we all can learn. There's so much more than the judgment that we instantly create. It's a fact. We create judgment on somebody within the first, usually 60 to 90 seconds. We have judgment on them. If you showed me a picture of Jeffree Star before I really found out his story, I had judgment on him. And that's something that we can all learn from, because so many of us out there deal with mental illness challenges. We deal with addiction. We deal with everyday life. We deal with maybe that we're expressive in our tattoos. Maybe that we express ourselves in different ways. That people pass judgment on us. And the only way to really kill any kind of stigma, to break any kind of judgment out there, is to bring awareness to that and also take ownership where we create it too. Nobody has the right to judge anyone. We need to, if we're going to judge anyone, we need to judge ourselves first. And we need to look in and say, where are my faults at? Because when we work on our own faults, we appreciate other people's faults, because if they're working on them, it's okay. We can lift each other up. It's about people helping people, and that's what Jeffree Star really taught me. He taught me that you can't judge. You can't fall into a stigma. You can see Jeffree Star, and he's a very flamboyant and very boisterous person, but that doesn't mean for us to judge him. You lost your dad at age 6, man, and I give you all the credit in the world now. You traveled and you were raised by a single mom. Single moms out there, I give you all the credit. What this guy did with the odds against him is amazing. And he has all my respect now. I had to look at the learning experience in that and realize that it's not my place to pass judgment. It's not my place to fall into putting people in with stigmas or to be biased to people by how they look or what they do. We're all human out there. And it's a lesson that we all can learn. Looking at him and looking at myself, I have some things in common with him. And I have to appreciate the hustle that he's done. I have to appreciate, the awareness that he's done of what he does. And if I can model that, then great. Because there's stuff that we can learn from everybody. If you know somebody's suffering from depression, if you know somebody's suffering from anxiety, we can't see it. And they tell us they're suffering from depression, and we tell them, don't be sad. Somebody tells us that they have anxiety, and we say, oh, well, don't be anxious about that. There's a difference between anxious and anxiety. There's a difference between the two. And if you don't know it, then you have no place to put judgment. Do the correct research, do the correct looking into, so that we can speak intelligently about what we're talking about. Because there's nothing worse than when we're not educated on a subject, we create the stigma. I have support for everybody out there that's going through mental illness. I have support out there for anybody who's lost a loved one to suicide. I have a support out there for anybody who's trying to get sober, because life is a journey, and it's a journey that we can do together. But the only way we're ever going to do it, and the only way we're ever going to be successful at it, is by people helping people and being educated about it and not passing that judgment. We have to look in before we look out at others. None of us are perfect, and that's always going to be the case. None of us are perfect. That's what makes us human. That's one of the greatest joys in life. But the other great joy is that we can change, and that we can change our mindset, and we can change who we are. If you find something that creates that stigma for you, or you find yourself judging somebody, do the research and find out why maybe you're judging them. I had a lot of judgment passed on me when I did some videos with Avery Moon, she does porn, but she's so active with children and CPS and addiction and being sober that I give her a lot of credit, and I look past some of the things that normally we would judge on. Because there's so much more, again, to life than judgment. And we can make the difference. It comes down to us making the difference. We really want to get rid of the stigma. It comes down to us getting rid of the stigma. We can do it, and it's a together thing. So next time that you're out there and you pass by somebody and maybe you judge them for what they are, who they are, or what they're wearing, or what they look like, remember, man, that could be your daughter, that could be your kid, that could be your son. But when we help that person that's fallen, that's when true human nature kicks in. And that's when we impact each other, and that's when we make a difference in each other's lives. Because none of us should go through life alone. We all feel like we're going through life alone. But we don't have to. And it comes down to, again, what I learned from Jeffree Star. I can't judge people by how they look or what they do until I know. Until I know their life story. Until I understand where they're at in life. And that's where the joy of sitting down and listening to somebody for the sake of listening and not replying is so important. It's a gift. We were given a gift of 2 ears and 1 mouth. Sometimes we really have to make sure that we're listening twice as much as we're talking. Because we don't know whose life it will change. Just to let them get it out and for them to know that they're not alone. So in this video here, all I can say is thank you, Jeffree Star. Thank you for opening up my eyes on one of my weaknesses and one of the areas that I need to work on as a human being. Because I created a company about people helping people, about awareness. But it's also something that I need to grow as a human being for. This is one of the least expected areas that I found it. So my personal message to you is thank you. And I appreciate what you brought into my life and the awareness that you brought into my life. That I can't pass the judgment. And I have to look past the presentation that somebody gives. I have to know the why behind it. And once I understand the why behind their presentation, now I can actually give support. Now I can actually learn. Now I can actually grow. Because we can learn something from everybody out there. I hope you got something out of this. I hope you make a difference in somebody's life. I hope you do something small and kind to somebody, just even as simple as a smile, to make their day a little bit better. Because there's no greater gift than people helping people. If you haven't liked and subscribed to my channel yet, click the little like and subscribe button down there. Check out my other videos. See what it's about. See what the awareness is about. See what the passion is about. Because as soon as we help other people, we help ourselves. The only way we can keep it is by giving it away. Have an amazing day today, and I hope that you got something out of this, and I hope that you bring a little bit more brightness down to this world. Thanks so much for watching. Have a wonderful day.